Hi there. Welcome to Doha, the capital of Qatar and the home of, you guessed it, Qatar Airways. Today we're going to be flying on one of their more special routes in the network, one of the few that sees the rare Qatar Airways A380. Today we're on our way to Bangkok, the second leg of my trip from New York to Phu Quoc in Vietnam. My Q Suites trip report from New York is linked above and below. Today we're going to quickly explore the concourse here in Doha, as well as the Al Marjan Business Class Lounge, before hustling our way over to board our big grey whale of a ride to Bangkok. We'll talk a little bit about why the A380s came back at all, and of course we'll have a detailed look at the full onboard experience. Originally, I had around a 2-hour connection time, but our inbound flight parked at a remote stand near Timbuktu. So now I'm a bit pressed for time with about an hour and 10 minutes to transit. My luck for today, no showers available and a long line. Oh well. Oh, and for those of you new to the channel, thanks for stopping by today. My name is Kevin, and I am the Flip Flop Traveler, a fairly literal title. I think the internet is in need of a whole lot more honesty when it comes to airline and hotel content, and that's why I'm here. I make trip reports and high-end hotel reviews, and I always self-fund my trips. In fact, you'll always be able to find the exact price that I paid in the description below. I don't alert any companies that I'll be filming because I want as normal of an experience as possible. So in this video today, I'm going to give you nothing more than my own personal, honest, and unbiased opinion based on my own experience. This is probably the quickest that I've ever been in and out of a lounge, and I'm thankful that you can't see me because I already know that I look like a hot mess. Air conditioning here is not their strong suit at the moment. Now we have to make our way to the gate since nearly an hour before departure time, the flight is already boarding. If you want to see a more in-depth tour of the Al Marjan Business Class Lounge, please check out my Q Suites video to Singapore, linked above and below. As we make our way to the gate, let's talk about saving the whales. This kind of whale, of course. Qatar Airways originally ordered their first A380s in 2001. I imagine in present day, that would create the same reaction as if JetBlue ordered a pair of them. Here's why. Qatar Airways, or QR, just started operations in 1994. Until 2002, in fact, the Qatari government, who owns QR, was still partial owner of Gulf Airways, along with the UAE and Oman. Qatar was the first to pull their investment to focus on their own airline, and the next year, they achieved a profit. They started out with a pair of Airbus A310s, then bought some 747 SPs from Air Mauritius in 1996. What's my point? Well, they were still emerging from being a pretty scrappy airline way back in 2001. Anyway, fast forward to 2014 when QR put the A380s into service. By this time, the airline had over 100 aircraft in the fleet, had over 100 on order, and was growing at breakneck speeds. From the get-go, QR, and more specifically Group CEO Akbar Al Bakr, seemed to be crapping on the A380 for a variety of reasons. But well, that's just kinda how he was. After a few years of operation, it was clear though, that the A380s were never going to be the backbone of the fleet. Al Bakr, who had been the CEO since 1997, retired all of the A380s when COVID struck. Then came his famous years-long feud with Airbus about the A350 paint jobs. That resulted in many of the airline's A350s being grounded, just as travel demand began to rebound. So, in 2022, the airline reinstated many retired aircraft, including 7 of their A380s. And here we are today. Currently, these whales are being flown to Bangkok, Perth, Sydney, and London. One thing that has changed though, Al Bakr suddenly and unceremoniously retired in October, shocking the industry. You can't see, but when I say retired, I'm holding up air quotes. The feud with Airbus is now over. There's a new CEO as of early November, and I think the future of these aircraft at QR are very much in the wait-and-see category. We simply don't know the opinion of the new CEO yet. Al Bakr was hell-bent on getting rid of them and eliminating first class. The new CEO might see things completely differently. There's a separate gate entrance for business and first class. It's 7:15, the flight departs at 7:55, and I truly feel like I was one of the last business class passengers to board. Here's our first look at our bird whale today. If you head down to the description, you'll find my next 5 videos to come out, as well as other bits and pieces like the soundtrack titles featured in this video. On the way down there, don't forget to subscribe. I release full-length videos every Thursday and Saturday. With their current fleet of 253 aircraft, they fly to nearly 200 destinations, and their route map is all about connecting one side of the globe to the other. It's estimated that more than 3/4 of the passengers who come to Doha Hamad International Airport never leave it. That sounds bad. What I mean is the vast majority of passengers are here just for transiting, just like me. Today, I'm going to Bangkok, one of 15 destinations that QR serves in Southeast Asia. Okay, as we walk down this beautiful jet bridge of solitude, let's look at today's flight stats. We'd be flying at a slow and steady 450 knots for most of the 7-hour flight to Bangkok, landing 4 minutes ahead of schedule. As I stepped on board, I was enthusiastically greeted, a big departure, no pun intended, from my last flight, and I was on my way to find my seat for today, 15 Kilo. I mean, honestly, how long ago did they start boarding? These people look like they've been here for hours. Anyway, welcome to my home for the next few hours. Let's go to the graphics and check out the layout. In case you didn't notice, we're on the upper deck today. Actually, back that up. So the A380 has 2 decks, the full length of the aircraft for both of them. Up here, we have 2 rows of first class, a massive galley space, and then the business class cabin, which is 12 rows in a 1-to-1 configuration. Behind us is the onboard bar and lounge, and then behind that is another 8 rows of economy, in addition to the 45 rows downstairs. All in all, this Whalebird has 517 seats. Bathrooms are at the front and rear of the cabin, and there are no missing windows, so I reckon something right in the middle is the best place to be. The seats are in great condition, and as far as fit and finish, they are one of the more nicely outfitted reverse herringbone seats out there, with one big caveat. Here's your friendly reminder to click that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with friends and family. Those are truly the easiest ways, all free for you, to help the channel grow. If you'd like to support me further, my Patreon is linked in the description below. Thanks very much in advance. Pre-departure drinks and those pre-packaged diptyque towelettes were passed out. I would much prefer just a regular towel. The seat had a bottle of water upon boarding as well. Storage-wise, the seat itself has quite a bit, but then when you consider the bins that are along the wall to account for the curvature of the aircraft, there's really an endless amount of storage space at these seats. By the way, those sidewall bins do extend to the economy section as well. So if you're flying economy on literally any A380, the best seats will always be the window seats on the upper deck, if your airline has them. The tray table is large and can be reduced in size and moved back and forth. I really love how flush it is with the side table when it's pulled forward. A very well designed seat, with one big caveat. And look, there are even overhead air vents as well. Okay, so the caveat. Hear me loud and clear, please, that all reverse herringbone seats are fantastic seats. Clear? Yeah? Okay. So within that context, these, I think, are the worst of any airline's reverse herringbone seats. Why? If you're taller than a 12-year-old, there's precisely zero privacy. The shelves around these seats are so low. They're even lower than the headrest. For an airline that developed the most private business class seats on Earth, this is just like bananas. Just to give you the best idea possible, I held the camera for this shot exactly in front of my eye level. It's just so unnecessary to make it so low, and it totally changes the feel of the seating configuration that normally I would love to pieces. This configuration started to feel a whole lot more like Austrian Airlines 767s. Okay, guess what? That's literally the end of complaining for this video. The clever new safety video began. Frankly, would love to go back to Cape Town right now. And we push back. Distance-wise, it wasn't really that long of a taxi, but it took a while to get to the runway as we were 10th in line for takeoff. Was very surprised to see not one or two, but 3 Finnair aircraft on the ground all at the same time. In Doha. I love a good tail camera. We lined up for takeoff to the north. The spool up, takeoff, and airport stats are coming up next. A few minutes after reaching cruising altitude, beverage service began. At the time, I was in that weird, groggy, what the hell is going on, I'm supposed to be sleeping right now fuzzy space. So I stayed away from alcohol on this flight. Let's take a look at the comfort items on board. First up, we start with the amenity kit. It's the same diptyque contents as the last flight, but this time in a proper zip pouch. The structure of this pouch is actually a lot better than it used to be also, which previously had a black pouch that zipped in the middle. Then there's the Bitsy Flimsy Instagram pillow. And then the real pillow. Quite firm, good quality, but wish that it was squared off a bit just to make it more comfortable when sleeping. Last up, we have the standard Qatar blanket. Soft and substantial, and a heck of a lot longer than you would think it really was. Meal service was just about to begin, and it was a really good meal. We started off with a salmon rice ball amuse on top of a mango salad. Here's the full menu for the flight. Keep in mind that everything is dine on demand, and the prices for the wines are just my addition to give you an idea of the wine retail value on board. Everything is free. For starters, I went with the traditional Arabic meze, which was good as always, but I do wish that they had a hot component like Etihad Oman and Emirates have. Next up was the soup of the day. This was the best thing that I had between these two flights. A red curry broth, which I would have happily had 3 more bowls of. I realized I didn't notice the yin-yang presentation, which is pretty impressive for a soup on a plane. Or maybe it wasn't intentional. Either way, really delicious. For the main dish, I had the Qatari chicken makbous, which supports my theory that, when you're flying on a Middle Eastern carrier, the best choice is always the local rice dish on the menu. Had it not been for that soup, this would have easily been my favorite thing between these two flights. Service ended with a very unexpected, real hot towel. A bit strange that we never got any from JFK. I thought the prepackaged ones were just the new standard. Let's head back to the lounge and bar area. On a relatively short flight like today, this didn't really get that much use, but I imagine on a longer flight, or on non-morning flights, it would be a pretty popular spot. As for the 10-second toilet tour, it was clean and fully stocked throughout with Diptyque products, but the surfaces themselves have seen some better days. Let's check out the seat in full flat mode. Despite the less than private nature of this seat, I think it's very fair to say that these reverse herringbone seats make for a much more spacious bed than any original Q Suite, which is much narrower. As we take a look at the cabin and entertainment system on offer, let me talk briefly about the crew on this flight. It was literally like night and day compared to my JFK flight. My crew could not have done enough for me. She was warm, engaging, and definitely the best flight attendant that I've had in quite a while. The other crew on this flight also just felt much more welcoming in general than the last flight. I decided that I wanted to save dessert for just before landing. It's impressive to me that even just for this one item, the table gets fully dressed up, no trays in sight. I had the pandan and tapioca pudding with mango salsa and almond crumble, which was delicious and surprisingly light. Let me also mention that the food selection in general on this flight was really good. I would have been happy to create an entire second meal from that menu if I had the room. Before landing, we got some chocolates and I continued with my 4th Americano. The sun was beginning to set as we were approaching Suvarnabhumi from the northwest. Enjoy the beautiful views during the final descent. So, that is that. I always love the look of these jet bridges at night. This was a wonderful flight. I'm not a fan of the open and low-slung nature of this particular seat, but it wouldn't stop me from flying the same aircraft again on this route. Though for something over 10 hours when I really wanted some sleep, I'd prefer just about any of their other layouts. I made my way to the largest baggage carousel that I think I've ever seen, and part 2 of these 3 flights to Phu Quoc has come to an end. I really do hope that you enjoyed this trip report today. If you did, please be sure to click that thumbs up button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my twice weekly postings, generally every Thursday and Saturday.